I made macarons, or what I formerly called macaroons growing up. I've heard that macarons are notoriously hard to make, but I figured, it can't be that hard. You just whip some eggs, fold some things together, and then put a filling. So I decided I wanted to try them, and macarons are gluten free and can often be dairy free since they're made with almond flour and then you fill them with whatever. And I was looking for a gluten free option that would be friendly to my sensitive, acne prone skin. So this video is me doing my best to make macarons. I'll be in the corner here, maybe at the bottom, just narrating what's going on and sharing what I learned before making macarons and then also in the process of actually making them. And then you'll see how they turned out at the end of the video. So the first important step with making macarons is making sure that you have very finely sifted flour with almond flour. They say that it's fine, whatever, but there can still be little chunks of almonds in it. And then once you go to make your actual macarons, there will be like lumps on it when it's done if you don't sift it really well. So that's what I'm doing here. It was more difficult than I thought it would be. There were a lot of chunks left over. Then the part that I kind of dreaded the most, which was whipping up the egg whites. I have not had a ton of success with this in the past. I'm never sure if I'm like actually at the stiff peaks or if I'm like a level below stiff peaks and need to keep going, but I don't want to overbeat them. So that's what's happening here. I'm making a meringue, adding sugar a little bit at a time. They said it's really important to do a little so you don't deflate your egg whites as you're whipping them up. But you can see it gets white, pretty thick, and then at this point, it looked like it was stiff peaks to me. So I added in the flavoring. So I used lemon extract and then also the coloring. The lady online said to use 3 drops of food dye, no more, food dye gel, no more, because then it'll mess up the texture and mess up the flavor. But I wish I would have used more because this was really, really light. And even like when they baked, it looked just like a regular vanilla, plain, kind of boring cookie. And I was really excited about the food coloring, so I was kind of upset about that. But I'll make them again. But I'm whipping all of the flavors and colors in one final time. And then this is me just checking for stiff peaks, holding it upside down. Nothing's moving, nothing's falling. And it's glossy there, which is good. And now is the part that I think I messed up. It's apparently very important. It's called the macaronage. I'm not French, so that accent is not a thing. But basically, it's just folding in the almond flour, sugary mixture into the egg whites. And apparently, it's really important to like beat a lot of the air out of the egg whites. And I think that's where I messed up. I didn't go long enough because I was trying to be gentle so that it would still have air, but apparently, you're supposed to like get in there. So I did that, and everything online said once you can make a figure 8 with the batter, then it's done. And I made like 6 figure 8s right there. So I said, it's done. It's time to pipe these out and get going. So I piped them out. It was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. I think the nozzle hole on my piping bag was a little too small when I cut it, so I was like squeezing to get it out. There were different shapes. Things got a little wonky, but I will say they flattened out a lot once they set for a little bit, and then I also smacked them on the counter to get the air bubbles out. And then we baked them. We being me, baked them for like 15 minutes, and here they rose. Okay, so after they came out of the oven, I had to let them cool, of course, and then I filled them. So I filled 3 piping bags with different fillings. The first one here is lemon curd. This one was pretty liquidy, but this one was kind of in the middle. It was liquidy enough to squeeze out easily, but it didn't slip and slide around everywhere. So that was my first one. And then I did a strawberry preserves. This one was super liquidy. It slipped and slided all around when I put the tops on, especially if I put too much, it would like seep out the sides. And then the last one was an ube jam that I had from making something else before. This was the thickest, the hardest to pipe in, but it held its shape the best and it worked out really well. And here is the finished products, part one of the finished product. Again, they were really pale, so I wanted to decorate them. So I got some of the food gel, mixed it with a little extract. They said that helps it to just paint on better, and the extract just dries away. Anywho, then I took my basting pastry brush and just kind of tried to do some little designs. A lot of them didn't really turn out how I wanted, but here are two that were kind of cute. So the first one was with the brush with just purple strokes. And then this one I tried to do polka dots. I didn't have toothpicks or anything like that, so I literally just used a fork and dipped it in the different colors that I had. I had pink, green, purple, and yellow. I did it on Founders Day, so I was trying to throw a little pink and green in. And then I just did polka dots across the top of this. And so here's a close-up, oh, very quick close-up, and then the other one. And then you can also see this very slow, dramatic pan up and down of the 3 that I feel like turned out the best of the 20 or so that I decorated. But you can see the polka dots, the stripe swipes, and then a green one that I did with the brush as well. Here they are decoratively in bowls, stacked on each other. I was really working on the photography. It wasn't coming together for these. It wasn't. So then, okay, let's come back to full screen. So they looked the part. You can see here's just like a close up on what the sides look like. Like you can see that they rose. They had the feet that are important when you're making macarons. And so I was like, yes, like they look good. The fillings are good. They're not the colors that I want, but I made it work. But then I learned something about macarons is that, like I said earlier, with the macaronage, if you don't beat that air out of the egg whites, which feels counterproductive to me because I spent so much time putting air in, only to then like aggressively beat it out. But if you don't beat out the air from the egg whites enough, then you will get hollow shells. So that is that's what happened to me. Everything tasted great, but I'll just show you what happened with the hollow shells. This is literally how I was eating them. I would just crack the shells off because it was just so messy to bite into and to eat. And then I would eat like the chewy filling part with like that little bit of cookie. It was actually really good that way too, but I definitely want to try it again with the texture it's supposed to be, which will take whipping the mess out of the egg whites apparently. So those were my macarons. I really thought I had it. I thought I had it in the first half, and then them bad boys cooled, and I bit into it, and I realized that I see why people say they're difficult to make. It was, it takes a lot of technique. It was only my first time, so I'm not like beating myself up or anything, but I do want to make them again with more food coloring. I want to also put a little more flavor in the batter. It didn't really taste like lemon at all. It was relying a lot on just the filling, which was fine. The filling was good. But then the most important thing is I want to make sure that I'm like whip, or really beat the egg whites and all the air so that hopefully I can get that more chewy texture across the entire like shell part and not just like on that thin inside layer of the macaron. But I do plan to try baking and making some other things. So I want to try mousse, never done that, souffle, Never done that, though. Honestly, I feel like I need to take a break from egg white things because headache and other things too. So be on the lookout for that. And thanks for watching.
That's not. Yeah. So it was awful. Everyone's emotions are just like at an 11.